Well, everyone, thank you for coming tonight. We'll get started. I am Daniel Binkert with College Relations, and before I introduce tonight's speaker, I want to give you a little bit of background on the Graves Lecture Series. In 2006, then Library Director Milton Wolfe wanted to start a new academic series on campus. And he named it in honor of Dr. Dorset Graves, who had just finished up teaching as an adjunct faculty member here at CSC. But prior to that, Dr. Graves was on the CSC English faculty for 32 years before retiring in 1990. So Milton Wolfe, with a lot of assistance from Sean Hartman, who also worked at the library for a number of years, organized the Graves Lecture Series until his death in 2012. And then Sean continued to manage the program until she retired earlier this year. Now, I had the pleasure of chatting with Sean before a lot of these presentations over the years, and so I'm really happy to be part of College Relations as we work to continue this project and keep it going, especially as it's nearing its 20-year mark. So, tonight's presenter is someone who you all probably know, Kevin Coy Jr. Kevin is an academic advisor for the TRIO Upward Bound program, where he mentors and guides high school students as they prepare for college success. Kevin earned his Bachelor of Arts degree from CSC in 2018. He and his wife Taylor have 2 sons. Kevin's presentation is Rooted in Resilience. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Coy Jr.
Thank you, Daniel. Good evening. Thank you to the College Relations crew. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to share with you my story of Rooted in Resilience. Thank you to you all who took time out of your night to come and listen as well. So I would like to extend a warm thank you. Okay, tonight I'm going to be talking about Rooted in Resilience, of how being rooted in resilience, it builds strength through adversity. I'm Kevin Coy Jr. I was born in Davenport, Florida, about 30 minutes south of Orlando, depending on the traffic. And I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. And when I came to Chadron in 2014, that was an eye-opener. I saw so much wide open land, and 50 minutes or 50 miles meant 50 minutes. I wasn't used to that. Huge culture shock in terms of that. It wasn't a lot of people here. It wasn't overpopulated, which I grew to enjoy. So I came to Chadron in 2014, and I had hopes. I had hopes of a brighter future. I learned about Project Strive, the SSS program here on campus in 2015 as a sophomore in college. I took a course with Dr. Madsen, and we had a scavenger hunt around the campus. And I happened to stumble upon Project Strive, which was in the library. And I'm like, well, Jen Shearer, who's the director, she explained everything of what it took to join Project Strive. And as she was going down the list, I'm like, oh, check. Oh, nice. How can I join? Sign me up today. And when I made that decision to join Project Strive, that's when a lot of my life began to change. So I graduated from Chadron State College in 2018. And that was a huge accomplishment for me, being a first-generation low-income student, and being able to achieve that was great for me and also for my family. And now I work as an academic advisor for the Upward Bound program, like Daniel mentioned. And there I enjoy thoroughly enjoy what I do for the students, because I can see myself, a little bit of myself in each of those students. And I have the background to assist them on their journey. So it's very rewarding, and I enjoy every minute of it. And I hope the kids do as well. So I am married to my beautiful wife, Taylor, here in the front, and we have two handsome sons, Corbin and Trey. And I'll talk more about them as we continue on. Oh, wait. So in these pictures, this is my mom. This is my dad and uncle. They're actually identical twins. And his name is Keith, and my dad's name is Kevin, of course. So it's an ongoing joke in our family that you can name 6 people with 2 names. So my dad has 3 Kevins. Trey is the third. I'm the second. My dad's the first. And also for my uncle, he has a son, Keith Jr., and also Keith the third. So it's an ongoing joke that you can name 6 people with 2 names. This is my older brother. Oh, this is my older brother and my older sister, Daniel and Lakiva. So I would like to draw your attention to this activity that I had prepared. Just take some time to reflect and to think about a time that you had to overcome a challenge. You don't have to think long and hard. Maybe you do. And then, what strengths did you use? And how can you apply that in the future? So hopefully, as I continue to go throughout this presentation, hopefully you can find those answers from within. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. Mom. Oh, whoa. There we go. Okay, define a resilience. So resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges. One challenge that comes to mind is when I arrived here at Chadron State College back in 2014. No one, being from the South, being from Florida, no one could really understand me. And I had to practice pronouncing words and enunciating words as well. I had a football coach that I would go into his office and we would have a conversation, and he would stop me. Kevin, stop. Enunciate your words. I'm like, I thought I was speaking regular, but I thought I was speaking proper English. And he said, no, you need to enunciate. I can't understand you. Even when I met my wife back in Kent Hall, and she had a hard time understanding me as well. So the Kevin that you see today is not the Kevin that was back then. There was a lot of resilience that I had to overcome to go through to get to this point. It is a skill that I had to learn and develop as time went. I knew if I could talk to some of my teammates that was from this region clearly, then I built up confidence as I went. If they could understand me, I made a goal for myself. If I can talk to a person for 5 minutes and they then stop me and say, what did you say? That was success for me. So that's where it was developed. So why does resilience matter? It supports mental health and well-being, builds confidence and adaptability, and helps navigate adversity and stress. So with the mental health piece, I would be in my head about certain situations or about me graduating college. I remember countless times going to Jen Shear's office and just ready to just quit. Sometimes I felt that I wasn't smart enough to achieve such a huge accomplishment coming from where I come from. People don't usually do that. And it was a constant battle, a daily battle for me. So my resilience through sports. Football was a way of life. A lot of you may know me as a football player, scoring touchdowns and all that jazz, all that good stuff. However, there was a journey that had to take place in order to get to that point, and the adversities and the different circumstances that I had to endure to get to the other side. So I'm in the South, from Florida, deep South. Football was a way of life. I grew up playing football, sandlot football. When I realized I could actually play football or was good at it, I was about 5 years old. We were playing sandlot football, and my brother, which is a 7-year age gap between us, he was running the ball, and I tackled him. So here is a 5-year-old tackling a 12-year-old. And I'm like, oh, snap. Everybody cheered. They called me Tank. They called me Tank because they said I had a big head and a small body, but it's okay. So they called me, they're cheering, and I'm like, I like this. Maybe I should continue. And that became a part of me. So from the age of 6 years old to the age of 22 years old, so 17 years were dedicated to the game and to the grind, and a lot went into it. I learned some valuable life skills, valuable life lessons in terms of teamwork. There's no I in team. Integrity. What are you doing when people aren't watching? So workouts and all of that, are you still in shape? And those things that I had to put my body through in order to produce on the football field. So I had 2 knee surgeries. One was in high school. I was a senior in high school. It was the 4th game of the season, and go for a tackle, and they call it friendly fire. I got taken out by one of my teammates, and I felt the pop in my left knee, and I'm like, I never had this before. At this point, I had never been injured. May have been hurt, but I wasn't injured. There's a difference. So that happened, and by the end of that game, my knee had swelled up so big that I didn't know what I was going to do at that point. And then eventually it started going down as the week progressed. And then the next week, mind you, I don't have any scholarships. This is my first season. This is my first season as a high school running back. So I only had 1 season, and that was my senior season as a high school running back. And I have 0 offers, not many interests, and I still have games to play. I still have 6 games to play. It got to a point where I couldn't bend my knee past 90 degrees, and I had to sit out throughout practice in order so I could play on Fridays, because I was the starting running back, and my team depended on me, and I had to deliver. Not only because of that, I needed a scholarship. I needed that chance, and I ended up playing 10 games on that torn knee, and so we ended up making it to the state championship. We lost in a heartbreaking game to a team we could have beaten, but I was so banged up. There were times throughout the season, I had to get carried off the field because I literally could not walk off the field. But I needed a scholarship, but I didn't have it. I didn't have the grades. I didn't have the test scores. But I still needed one. So I pushed through that to get to this point. I remember I got a phone call from Coach Jersey, when that season was over, I had a good enough season that Chadron State, Coach Jers, and the Chadron football coaching staff took a chance. Get a call from him, hey, Coach Jersey, Chadron State. I'm like, okay, I never would have thought, I don't know where Chadron is. When I saw Chadron on paper, I thought it was Chadron. I know we get that a lot. Says, what do you think about coming to play football here? And at the time, I was in between things. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go. First off, I want to go Division I. I don't want to go Division II. And one thing led to another. He was just persistent in that process. And I ended up signing to Chadron State in the spring of 2014. So that worked out. Fast forward to my injury in college. So two years had gone by, and it was I was a redshirt freshman. It was a routine play. We were playing Fort Lewis. Last game of the season, fourth quarter, routine play. I get hit in the knee, right knee. All I hear is a pop. And I'm like, oh, I go down. I didn't get up, kind of blacked out because my body was in shock. I go down and they start doing tests and my knee shifted in a way that it wasn't supposed to. Up until this point, I had minor surgeries. Meniscus wasn't too bad to come back from or to play again. And comes back, it was a torn ACL. At this point, low-income kid, I was on Medicaid. If you don't know what that is government insurance because your parents or your family doesn't make enough money. So that was my torn ACL was deemed as a non-life-threatening. So that means being in Florida, having my insurance in Florida, I couldn't get the necessities needed for this injury to get treated. I would have had to pay out of pocket because it was out of network. So I had to keep flying back and forth. Thankfully, it was on the break, close to the break in November. But that was a struggle going from place to place when I already don't have two nickels to rub together in the first place. So going back and forth to Florida to get those routine checkups or like the images, the MRIs or the X-rays. So I had to continue to fly. I took about 3 trips back and forth. But in the end, it worked out. Worked out twice a day throughout the summer. Came back in 6 months when this injury usually takes 9 to 12 months to recover. The biggest thing was getting my mindset in a positive mindset to overcome that. My body was ready, my knee was ready, but my mindset was not. It was still in the slump. So it took about a year or so to fully get to where I needed to be. So resilience through education. So my resilience through education, my mom is a high school dropout. She had my brother, my oldest brother, as 15-year-old. And she dropped out of high school and never went back. There was a study done by DHHS back in 2008 that stated kids who come from those backgrounds where their parents don't have a high school GED, high school diploma or GED, have a 66% chance, they are 66% less likely to graduate high school. Moreover, when a kid comes from that background, it's less than 11% that a kid from that background will get a bachelor's degree. Growing up, I did both of those. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Mama, I love you. But I did both of those. But it was a struggle going to these. In the span from third grade to sixth grade, I went to 4 different schools. So at an early age, I had to learn how to adapt. I went from a huge elementary public school to a liberal arts school the following year. Then I went to an academy the next year. Then I went to another academy the next year. So my mom, she put us in these schools with that high school with that education that she had. And from 4th grade to 8th grade, I couldn't go home and ask mom or my dad help. I couldn't ask for help. I could ask, but it was so advanced for them that I had to figure it out on my own. And that it helped me to push me out of my comfort zone in terms of meeting new people and asking for help when needed. But that also came with a dark side in terms of I fell behind. I fell behind in school because of that, having to catch the bus to school, and if I missed the bus, then mom would have to take me or dad would have to take me. It wasn't a conducive environment for the places that I was involved in. Like I said, I'm the first in my family to attend college and graduate also. But it came with a price. And I went from, I'll never forget, I was named the second team academic All-American. Just in high school, I was told by my geometry teacher, Mrs. Taylor, not my Miss Taylor, but my geometry teacher, we were having a conversation, open discussion. And we were talking about college sports, and I'm saying how I'm gonna use football as my way out. And she says, she interrupts everyone, interrupts me included, and says, you will never make it to college because I've seen far better athletes than you. In front of the entire class. I thought as an educator, you're supposed to be uplifting and caring and support students with their dreams and aspirations. But that wasn't the case. So that wasn't only for me. That was fuel for me to gain that, and to also for my outward bound students to let them know that it is possible. Doesn't matter about your background. It doesn't matter where you come from. There's hope. So resilience through family struggles. This picture right here is my grandmother, my late grandmother, Laureen James. So we lived with her. She didn't live with us, we lived with her. So it was my family, my mom, dad, siblings, and myself, and my grandmother. And I lost her at 9 years old. So it was just a regular day. I get home, and my grandmother sitting on the porch, and family friend comes over, and she notices that my grandmother is kind of incoherent, not really making sense with her words, with her speech, slurring her speech. And she calls 911, the ambulance, EMT pull up. And I'll never forget what the EMT did in this particular moment. He asked my grandmother, he said, repeat this after me. You can never teach an old dog new tricks. I'm 9 years old, I'm just taking it all in. But he posed that question, and she was not able to regurgitate the information that he had just posed. So they rushed her to the hospital, and that was the last time I saw my grandmother at our house. Parents, this is a very tumultuous time in our household after she passed, because she was kind of the glue that kept us all together. So shortly after that, my parents get divorced. They get a divorce, they split. My sister, brother, and myself, we go with mom, and dad goes down and 20 minutes away down to his home, back to his hometown. They're living, and I felt the family dynamic shift when that happened. It was a gradual shift. Things that used to be accessible for a two-parent household, for a single-parent household, things changed. I remember coming home from school some days, not knowing if our lights would be turned off. Go to the bathroom, flip on the light. There's no lights. Go to the faucet, turn on the faucet. There's no water. Go to the refrigerator, open that up. Minimal to no food. So these are the effects that I noticed going into that or going through that. So fast forward, going to my junior year of high school, I had transferred from a 7A big school, public school, went from a 7A to a 2A high school, small Christian school. Mind you, my mom is still single, and we didn't have any money. I didn't have any money for a private education. But I remember my coach, defensive coordinator, came up to me and said, "You have people in your corner." So I ended up getting through that. And so this is my first week at this new school, Victory Christian Academy. My first week there. And it was about a 45-minute drive from where I lived to this school. And I get home after practice, drive home, get home, approach my front door, and there's a pink slip. Pulled it out, read it, it read, "You have 24 hours to pack up all your stuff. You've been evicted." Okay, so I get on the phone, I call my mom. Like, "Mom, we just got home, we have this letter. I don't know what this is. What does this mean?" From that point, I had to get all my belongings together, memorabilia, clothes, all that I had to pack in one tote. And that's all I had, like memories from 0 years old to 16 years old at this point. So all of my memories, all my childhood memories, everything was in one tote that I had to take with me. And my friend that brought me home, he told his parents what happened. And for the next 2 years, I was pretty much couch surfing at their house. It was an extended stay. And they were gracious enough. The Nelson family was gracious enough to allow me into their home, welcome me into their home. They didn't treat me any different from their biological son. So I'm forever grateful for them and what they've done for me. So I'm a senior. Fast forward, I'm a senior in high school at this point. And I, after school and everything gets out, I go to my dad's house because the Nelson family stayed in the same town as my dad. So I would go to my dad's house and I would greet him with a handshake. And when I stuck my hand out to shake his hand, he told me that I can't lift my hand. I can't lift my arm. I can't lift my right arm. I said, "You can't lift your right, what? What's wrong?" "I don't know. It's been like this all day." And then as I began to listen to him more closely, I could hear a slur in his speech. So I'm like, okay. Going back to 9 years old, Kevin, remembered what the EMT told grandma, I posed the question to my dad because I had to think fast. So I posed that question to him. Repeat after me. You can never teach an old dog new tricks. And he was not able to regurgitate that information. So I said, come on, Dad, we gotta go. You're having a stroke right now. And mind you, there were people in the house with him, but they didn't know what was going on. So there's others, and when I came in, I was able to identify what was happening at that very moment. So I rushed him to the hospital myself. Get to the first hospital. They tell us that the waiting room, the wait list is too long. We cannot get him in. But I said, he's having an active stroke right now. There's a certain window, sir, that we have to wait, that we can't get him in. I'm like, what? So I just stopped because I didn't even argue. I said, okay. So from that point, took my dad to the nearest hospital, got him in. They got him in right away, and they were able to save his life. And having that background knowledge of knowing what I knew, I had a part to play in him still being here today. So my roots in resilience, faith in God. Without him, I would not be here speaking to you today, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The plan he had for my life was way greater than any plan that I could ever construct for myself. And then the strong relationships in the community that I had to adapt and create for myself. You ever heard the phrase of you are the average of your 5 friends? Well, I'm here as a living example of, yes, you truly are an average of your 5 friends. And my mindset through these different circumstances, these different challenges, I had to adapt, if you will. I had to adapt a positive mindset, a positive outlook. I look at it as happiness versus joy in my life. Happiness is what happens. What happens in that moment. I got a promotion on the job. Now I'm happy. But the joy is continual. It never stops. You're always looking for the next positive thing instead of looking at the now, the joy. So I had to choose joy every day in and day out. Yeah, my ACL is crap, but there's a brighter side to this. There's an other side to this. So I encourage you to adopt that positive mindset of you never know what someone else is going through and how you could help them in the times of hard times, or you don't know when you might need that help. So I had to anchor myself in values and my purpose. Coming to Chadron State, I didn't know my purpose. I thought my purpose was just playing football and that was it. Yeah. Football and that was it. I wanted to pursue a professional career in football. And I remember one of my first meetings with Chadron State College, I had one coach say in front of everyone, probably none of you are going to make it to the NFL. I'm like, whoa, hold up. He's not talking to me. He was talking to me. He was talking to me. And at that point, I slowly began to realize how important education was and how impactful it could be. And you don't need the $1 million contracts to live a comfortable life. Chadron provided that for myself and my family. Hindsight, I wanted everything that the NFL had to offer and all that good stuff. But no, now I don't want it. I had to stay flexible. I had to learn on the fly. Stay flexible and open to growth. I had to do that. I couldn't stay in that same mindset. You can change the word growth to change. Stay flexible and open to change, because that's what fosters the growth, the change. Change is not always bad. Sometimes it's good. A lot of times it's good because it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, in which I needed that. And Chadron provided that for me. And the different programs like Project Strive, the football team, they provided that for me. And then resilience is a lifetime activity, or it's lifelong. It's a practice. It never stops, because you will always face adversity no matter what you're doing. Adversity will arise. How will you respond to it? Control the controllables. Control what you can control, and the rest will fall in place. So I had to adopt this I'm blessed, not oppressed mindset, because I had to look in the mirror day in and day out and self-reflect on who I was and what I was doing. What was my purpose? How big is my purpose? Who will I impact? This is a daily thing that I have to reflect and make sure that I'm on track to where I want to be. So these are some daily habits that you can adopt. So routine, self-care, and rest, healthy coping strategies, celebrate small successes. I do a lot of celebrating the small successes with my students. I have what we call the BOSS bucket. That's an acronym for a bucket of student success. And there is a bunch of small successes. Oh, I got an A on this quiz. Okay, put your name in the drawing. We have a drawing once a month at our meetings that I have at the schools. Put your name in the drawing. What is that doing? That's celebrating the small successes. No matter how small it is, it can be, I got an A on this homework assignment. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it again. And let's do it again. Until we build those healthy habits of that success. I remember when I received my first A in college. Here, coming from where I come from, I had a 2.7 GPA. 2.7 GPA and a 14 on the ACT. And having my first semester, I had a 4.0 on my own. And that was rewarding for me, and that built the hunger, and that drove that hunger as I continued to go throughout college and life. So family roots. I met my beautiful wife, Taylor. Met her my freshman year of college in Kent Hall. And she hasn't gotten rid of me yet, so I guess I'm good. So we dated throughout college. We got married in March of 2019. And she's also first generation. So we both come from that background. We share something in common of neither one of our parents did what we accomplished or set out to do. So that's rewarding in itself. And our parents had to pay the price. But we overcame that obstacle. And then we have Trey and Corbin, two handsome sons in the front. So key takeaways. Never give up. Can you repeat that? Never give up. Never give up. Never quit. Don't quit. It's okay to ask for help. Question, can you all raise one of your hands, left or right? Just raise it in the air. So I remember, keep it there, and hold it like it's something there. And I remember in high school, I was a senior in high school, and our presenter said, all right, now, put pride in your hand. Can you put pride in your hand? I don't see anybody with pride in their hand. What did you just put in your hand? It's nothing. It's nothing in our hand. We think it too deeply. Yes, it's nothing. So it's all in that pride that we sometimes, or a lot of times we have. It's a barrier. It's a barrier to reaching the potential that you could potentially reach. And I had to overcome that by asking questions. Hey, I don't understand this. Can you explain? Can you elaborate on what you just said? Because I'm not getting it. I need help. So asking for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Make positive connections. It's not just in your inner circle. It's outside as well. And don't let your current situation dictate your future journey. I'm a huge proponent on that, and I believe deeply, because where I come from, I wasn't supposed to make it here. The odds were stacked against me. So bad, excuse me. Remember, the environment that I grew up in was poverty-stricken, drug-infested. Walk outside my front door, there's drug deals going on. People running down cars to make drug sales. Seen guns drawn on people. If I would have let that current situation dictate where my future was headed, I wouldn't be here today. So it took some resilience to get to this point. These are my references. Any questions? Yes.
As a fellow athlete that experienced significant injuries, my question for you is, what healthy outlets did you have when you were sidelined with injuries?
Say that again, sorry.
What healthy outlets or
Outlets.
releases of frustration, energy,
For sure.
all the time on your hands, what did you do to stay busy when you're injured?
My outlet that I utilized was yoga. I practiced yoga, and I actually got good at it. I was introduced to yoga through Maggie Smith-Broadman, Dr. Maggie Smith-Broadman. She was the director before Heather Wiles, and we had that class in the summer, and I actually started to like it because I started feeling good, and I just continued to do it, and I got better, and I saw my performance go up. It was yoga and positive mindset as well. Those are the two main things that helped me through it.
I know that about you.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Namaste.
Kim, I have a question. You talked about how you receive negative feedback, and then as well as how you receive positive affirmation. What gives you the most motivation?
What gives me the most motivation is my family. It's my family, my wife, my two kids, and the students that I encounter on a daily, because that's where the integrity piece comes in. You never know who's watching. What are you doing when people are not watching you? And if one wrong decision could potentially negatively affect all the people's lives that I touch. So I keep that in mind when moving forward through life. Any other questions?
How do you model resilience for your kids?
How do I model resilience through, or you said for my kids? Thank you. For my kids. How do I model resilience for my kids? I try not to make excuses. I think that's the biggest thing. Like I said, I was unable to walk, let alone run, throughout my time with my first injury. And the hunger that I had within superseded my current situation. So I was able to muster up enough energy and enough focus to get the job done. And moving throughout life now, present, I think I've adopted that mindset and having no excuses. Just get the job done, whatever it takes, get it done. And that's the best way to model that is through action. I can sit there and preach all day, but they're gonna watch what I'm doing. And I've noticed that with people and my students, that they're gonna watch you to see how you react to certain situations. And hopefully they could mimic some of those things that I do for them. Yeah.
Kevin, thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Of course.